Hey everybody, Joe Burnich with Big West Marketing. We do marketing for service-based businesses and contractors, and it's primarily with Google. I find that Google's the best way to get business for service-based businesses and contractor businesses. So that's all we do, okay? We do the websites, we do the Google, all that good stuff. Now, what I want to do in this video is talk about what's coming in 2018 with Google. So normally my videos run between 5 and 10 minutes long. This one's probably going to go longer, but I hope you guys stay till the end because there's going to be some extremely important information. And if you want to play the internet game, if you want to play the Google game in 2018, then this is the stuff, this is very important information that you need to be aware of. So let's get started with that right now. Okay, so there's two things we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about Google's new ad program. It's called the Local Service Ads. It is only affecting some industries in some cities. But in 2018, Google's planning on rolling this out nationwide, possibly worldwide. There's no exact dates or information on this, but I want to get you guys prepared for that. Second thing we're going to talk about is how much more powerful Google AdWords or pay-per-click is going to be in 2018. So we primarily do SEO, okay? That's mainly what we do at this business, but things are starting to change. I'm going to explain all that when I get to that section. But before we talk about Google AdWords, let's talk about these new local service ads. So this may be affecting you in your city and may not, but so there's basically a few industries Google, in a few cities Google is rolling this out with. The industries right now are plumbers, electricians, HVAC, and locksmiths, and maybe a few other ones I'm not sure about, but I know those ones for sure in big cities on the West Coast and East Coast, primarily big cities in California right now for those industries. So let's do an example so I can show you guys exactly what this looks like. Okay, so here we are at Google, and let's just do plumbers. I believe San Diego is one of the big cities they're using right now as a test. Yeah, so if you type in plumbers San Diego, you need a plumber, you're living in San Diego, you type in plumbers San Diego, you're going to see these extra ads here that didn't exist before. All right, so we've got the normal AdWords down here, or the pay-per-click. We've got the SEO down here. Okay, now we've also got these ads up here called local service ads. All right, now there's still a lot of questions out there, and Google's still like changing the rules all the time on what's going on with this. But I'm going to give you guys everything I know right now because I went to a conference and I talked to a couple people who are actually working with plumbers in San Diego. We've actually got a client that's a locksmith in Maryland that is now participating in this program. But like I said, it's only in specific cities in certain industries. You can't force it to happen. You got to wait for Google to contact you, okay, and invite you to participate. And we'll get into that in a second. All right. So what I really want to talk about is this is Google's answers to lead generation. So this is a pay-per-lead. It's not a pay-per-click. It's more like a pay-per-phone call, okay? And Google tracks those phone calls with their own tracking numbers, and then that's how they decide, how much it's going to cost, number one, and it also decides how much it's going to affect your rankings, whether or not you'll even be placed in these top three. Okay, so now one thing I can say is the people that are in these top three are getting a lot of calls. They definitely are getting a lot of calls, but it's not cheap, and it is it's a process to go through. So you got to meet a lot of criteria. Now, if you've heard me talk about, how strict Google's getting with like addresses and possibly submitting business licenses and pictures of your vans and your offices, your stuff like that, shirts with logos, hats with logos, Google wants more proof that you're a real business because Google's tired of all these fake businesses out there. They're trying to squash that, or businesses that are doing fake addresses and fake locations and all this stuff. Google's really hammering down on that, and with SEO, but but you can really see it in these local service ads. So let's get into the ranking factors. How do you get up here? What are the factors? What are the things you need to know if Google invites you to participate in this local service ad program? Okay. Number one, they're going to make sure that you have an address in the area you want to rank. You can rank in multiple cities, whereas SEO, you cannot rank in multiple cities. If you only have one address in one city, you're not ranking in a bunch of cities. Hopefully you know that. With this program, you can. Okay, they are allowing you to, but they are going to try to make sure, they're going to try to figure out if you can actually service those cities. Okay, and the way they're going to do that is by when somebody calls you from this ad. Let's look at the ad real quick. Let's see. So we go here. We need to pick a service first of all. So you add all your services in there. Let's do repair faucet. Let's do that. And then we got to put a zip code. We'll put a San Diego zip code 91945. Okay. All right. Now we can see Bill Howe Plumbing. We can see his local service ad. So it takes you to a whole new page. Okay, where you can look at his ad. You click and call this phone number. Then Google is actually going to record that. And they're also going to record how responsive you are. If it goes to voicemail, Google's going to know that. If you don't call them back for 2 hours, Google's going to know that. If you pick up right away, Google's going to know that. And they're going to use that, the responsiveness. This is huge because they've never done this before with anything. They're going to use responsiveness as a factor, a ranking factor, or how well you're going to show up. Okay? So the people that are very responsive, have good customer service skills, are going to win this game. And then another thing that's going to be part of that is hours of operation. So if you say you're 24 hours and you're not picking up the phone at 2 o'clock in the morning, that's going to hurt you. All right. Another thing that Google wants to look at is they want to make, they're giving favors to commercial addresses. If you've heard me talk about SEO coming up, commercial addresses, and I know it's expensive and I know it's not realistic for everybody watching this video. I get that. But commercial addresses are going to win out over the residential addresses every time. Okay, Google wants those residential commercial addresses, and they're going to verify that by asking you to submit licensing information, insurance information, and then they're actually going to do a background check for the owner and the employees of a business. Okay, and it takes about 30 days to get approved for this stuff and get this little badge here that says Google Guaranteed with the green check mark. And the reason this is so important is because Google doesn't want people with criminal backgrounds going into people's homes, working, and then Google's held liable for it. So Google's actually, from last I heard, Wendy just talked to our locksmith client and got this specific information, which is really surprising. I'd never heard this. Is Google's actually going to guarantee a certain dollar amount, like an insurance policy for the client. The person that hires Bill Howe Plumbing, they're actually going to cover that if he damages their property or steals something or whatever. Okay, so this is a way for Google to guarantee that these businesses are the real deal. And then it's also a way for Google to make more money because they're going to be charging per phone call. Okay, so like for example, and I don't know how much it's going to be. The bigger the city it is, the more competitive it is, the higher the price is going to be, just like with AdWords. But you're not going to be paying per click. You're going to be paying for each phone call. Okay, so that's very important. That's a big, huge difference that Google's never done anything like this before. So that's why I'm saying this is so important, and I want you guys to understand this. And another thing that I kind of have an issue with is that Google is going to start calling people. So like the client that we have that's participating in this program said that Google called up and he was worried that it was another one of these scammy sales calls. Okay, so that being said, if you get a call from Google, if they're talking about local service ads, write down that term, local service ads. That's your key that it's probably the real deal. Now there's probably going to be some scams coming out and stuff like that, but you know, those companies that call up and say we're Google partners, or some of them even say they work for Google, which is complete BS. But now Google actually is calling people for this specific program, so you need to be on alert for that. But the key is local service ads. Okay, all right. And by the way, it does take it takes up to 30 days for Google to do all the background checks and verify your information so that you can get this nice little badge here and participate in the program. Okay. So, all important stuff there. Let me see if there's anything else in my notes. Oh, another thing is when somebody calls you from one of these ads, Google's actually going to record those phone calls, and they're going to allow you access and them to go back and listen to these phone calls and use that to improve your services, improve your customer service, improve your response rate, all that kind of stuff. So you're going to have a dashboard where you can actually go in and listen to recorded phone calls when potential clients call you. So all kinds of new stuff happening with that. Be on guard for that. If you don't see it showing up in your city for your service, please don't call us. We can't do anything about that. That's a strictly a Google thing. I just want you guys to be prepared that in 2018 this is coming. But please don't call us and ask us how you can get in there if it's not showing up in your city. Just do a search for your service in your city and you'll know. Okay? You don't need to call us on that. All right. Now, next order of business here for 2018, Google 2018, is the pay-per-click, the AdWords. So this section right here. So first we talked about the local service ads. That's a completely different program from SEO, completely different program for AdWords pay-per-click. Okay, pay-per-click is still there, and pay-per-click, now with all the changes that Google makes, let me grab my phone here, hold on. With all the changes that Google makes as far as how they display results, you'll notice that the pay-per-clicks are much more prominent on the cell phones, on smartphones specifically. Not on desktop, but on smartphones. Basically, they're making these bigger, and they're making it so you have to scroll much farther down to get to the SEO section, which means in the past, if you ever heard me talk about pay-per-click, I'm not big on it because they only get 15 to 20% of the clicks, this little section here, these ads. Well, at this conference I went to, there's a whole bunch of new data that came out, and the new data states that this is now getting 40 to 50% of the clicks, not 15 to 20%, 40 to 50. So it's become much more profitable to participate in Google AdWords than ever before because of the smartphone and the way Google strategically does this, because that's how they make their money with ads. Let's be realistic. They're a business, okay? Doesn't help to get mad at them for this. Now, SEO is still very prominent, still very powerful, getting 50 to 60% of the clicks. But if you're thinking about adding Google AdWords in, then 2018 is the time to really get into that. Now, I know what a lot of people are thinking. They're thinking, Joe, I've tried Google AdWords in the past, and it's just too damn expensive. I can't afford it. It's too expensive. Different types of high-end services, it's much easier to afford than the smaller, $100-$200 jobs type stuff. But I've got an idea. I've got a strategy. I've got a plan for 2018 that I've already started implementing for a couple clients. But here's what I'm thinking. The problem with Google AdWords is what most businesses do, is they grab their primary service, their big service, and then they grab their primary city. So they're going for the big stuff in big cities. Super competitive, which drives the cost per click up because it's auction based, and then they're just priced out of the game and they can't play anymore. Okay, and then they send everything to the homepage, which is also a bad idea. The homepage of your website. What I'm proposing is, instead of doing that, if that's too expensive for you, instead of doing that, grab some secondary services. Okay, your smaller services, not your big main ones. Your smaller services. So, for example, if you're a roofer, instead of like roof replacements, which is going to be super competitive, super expensive, why not do like gutter repair, as one of these smaller services? If you're a carpet cleaner, why not do like carpet repair, carpet stretching, maybe upholstery, maybe tile, depending on how your area and how competitive it is. Some of these smaller services. Now, you're not going to get as many clicks, calls, jobs off of it, but the ones that you get will be much less expensive, much more affordable, and then you can upsell your bigger services there, okay? And now, in addition to going for the secondary services, okay, is what we want to do is send people to pages that are all about that secondary service. Don't send everything to your home page. That's everybody's biggest mistake, and it's so easy. So if you have an ad about gutter repair, you don't send them to your home page where it talks about roofing. You send them to a landing page. Be careful with that term. People misuse that term all the time. You send them to a page on your website or any page anywhere that talks just about gutter repair in their specific city. So if you're going for a suburb, like let's say you're going for, okay, we've got San Diego up here. So like La Mesa. So let's say we do gutter repair in La Mesa. We want to send them to a specific page that's all about gutter repair in La Mesa. Not your main one that's all about, roofing in San Diego. Okay, that's where most people end up spending too much money and they lose the connection with their ad, and then they decide that AdWords doesn't work. Okay, so. And people ask me, does AdWords work? Is there an ROI? What is the ROI? What's the return on investment with AdWords? People will ask me that. And the answer is 0 if you're doing it wrong. Okay? If you're being strategic about it, then it varies from city to city, service to service, all that kind of stuff. But you need a custom plan. You need to set it up the way I just said. So in 2018, as we get more into Google AdWords and get into pay-per-click, now that it's much more powerful, much more profitable for you guys, what I want to do is start creating videos, how-to videos. You know how I do it. I create lots of free how-to videos, how-to content for you guys. I'm going to continue to do that with Google AdWords and these local service ads. And I'm going to be, those are the videos you're going to start seeing coming out every Friday from me. Okay? How-to videos, specific how to do stuff. The reason I do educational marketing like that is because many times people come back to us and just have us do it, and a percentage do, percentage don't. Okay, so I work the percentages. That's my angle. I'm providing free information for you guys. Speaking of free information, I'll probably be updating the Service Business Money Machine book. It's still free. I pay for the printing. You pay for the shipping and handling. So in the next year, you can probably see another book coming out all about this kind of stuff. But right now, this one's all about SEO, Facebook, web design conversions. Still super important stuff. I want you guys to have this for free. So check out the link at the end of this video or go to servicebusinessmoneymachine.com. It's made for your industry. It's made for you guys. Not all the other stuff. Not just any business out there. It's specific to us, the way that we do business for this industry. So I've been rambling on a little bit too long, but like I said, this one's going to be long because we're moving into 2018, and I want you guys to be prepared, and I want you to be ready to go. If you want a free consultation, please give us a call at 406-493-1881. My name is Joe Burnich with Big West Marketing, and I will talk to you soon.